Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to take a different tact. We've been getting a lot of doom sayers influencing our decisions, and I think it's influenced some of my bad decisions on stocks. And I think I've had it up to here with the doomsayers, and I think things are looking considerably more positive than we've been led to believe. And I think it's time to go bullish and invest in tech stocks. And I'm going to tell you why, and I'm going to give you the information that supports this. How do I know this? It's the stats, okay? The numbers don't lie. People, I don't think they're trying to lie. I think that they've been driven into the ground by this last year of the market constantly going down. We've been driven to a state of disbelief where we don't believe the market's going to go up. But I think it's going to go up with fits and starts. And I think if we hang in there, we can make money being on the bullish side this year. So what is the evidence showing that things are probably better than the doomsayers are currently saying? Hang on. This is not financial nor professional advice. This video is for entertainment only. This very recent article in US Today really opened my eyes. When you look at the news as it comes out, all the big mega caps are laying off thousands of employees. Alphabet, better known as Google, is laying off 12,000 employees. Meta is reducing its staff by 13%. Tesla is laying off employees. All the big companies, all the big mega caps are laying off employees, plus technology companies like IBM. It just goes on and on. Zoom has laid off 15% of its workforce. What they neglect to mention usually is that the stock immediately goes up, because what has happened is that these companies have overhired so much during the health problems we were having and during the time we were staying home, when technology just took off like a rocket and they needed to hire more workers so they didn't lose out on revenue. They don't mention that. They mention the tiny fraction of the employees that they hired are being laid off. And usually these are employees, like with Meta. They were trying to push the metaverse, and they were really pushing that, and they were saying, oh, we don't care how much we go in debt. Well, as things tightened, they started to care, and they took the advice of experts and then started laying off employees. And you just had explosive growth. It went up 28% that last Thursday. At one point. And so it's a positive thing. It's not so much that they're firing workers because they're going broke. It's because they bloated so much during the health problems that they could afford to cut down a fraction of their employees to increase profits. That's what it's all about. What is almost never mentioned is how many employees these mega cap companies have added in the last 5 years. Amazon has added 93% more employees. They almost doubled their number of employees in the last 5 years. Microsoft has increased their employees by 53%. Meta, better known as Facebook, increased their employees 92%. Again, they almost doubled their employees in the last 5 years. Apple, good old Apple, only increased their employees 20%. I guess they showed a lot of prudence. and maybe that's why their stock never really goes down that much. Google, whose parent is Alphabet, has increased their employees by 63% over the last 5 years. So you have these huge employment levels, and the amount that they're decreasing employees currently so far has been minuscule. And in the early stages, in what's almost seemed like a lockdown where everybody was mostly staying home, technology suffered less than the overall country as far as unemployment goes. In August of 2020, the unemployment rate nationwide was like 8.4%, somewhere around there, and technology's unemployment rate was somewhere around 4.6%. So technology's unemployment was about half of what the nationwide unemployment rate was. So they were less affected to begin with. And then as people were staying home and we needed technology, they stood to gain the most from the stay-at-home situation. They've literally doubled their employment. They went from around 900,000 around 2019 to about 2 million. Okay. If they laid off 40 to 45% of their workers, if they did that drastic of a cut, they would roughly be where we were before these health problems all converged on us to make us all stay home. And that's what led to them hiring workers. People were staying home. They had to use technology. It improved our lives so much. What would we have done without it? And they hired workers because they didn't want to miss out on the business. When you look at this graphic of big tech layoffs in 2022 and 2023, each little square represents 100 workers laid off. And Amazon at 18,000 was the big winner of this competition that you don't want to be a part of. They laid off the most workers because they rely more on delivery and warehouses and physical goods that have to be handled, whereas the other ones are more online. Microsoft and Meta each lost about 10 to 11,000 workers. Alphabet lost 12,000 workers that they laid off. The one you do not see on this chart is Apple has somehow avoided any layoffs. Boy, that is impressive. And it's impressive because they didn't overhire to begin with. So you can say that Apple is an extremely well-managed company, and kudos to their leadership because they are really doing a good job of managing capital, which is probably why Berkshire Hathaway, which is owned by Warren Buffett, believes so heavily in Apple. And to drive home the point even further, if you look at the job layoffs in percentage terms, like with Amazon, it sounds huge, 18,000 or more laid off. That represents 1.2% of their total workforce. Okay. With the others, it's somewhat more significant. Meta, they laid off close to 13% of their workforce. Alphabet, better known as Google, laid off about 6.3% of their workforce, and Microsoft laid off about 4.5% of their workforce. And this is during all of 2022. And their workforces for each of these companies is still way larger than it was before the health problems. Again, Apple's not on this list because Apple has laid off no one. Okay. And the reason they're having to lay people off is technology companies typically borrow more money than other companies. to promote their growth, especially when there's a heavy press for their products like there was during the stay-at-home stage of our health problems. And this focusing on big technologies unemployment is really a distortion, because big technology does not hire the majority of technology workers. I mean, you're really privileged if you're with one of these big five companies. The vast majority of technology workers are hired by small and mid-sized companies. And the unemployment rate among technology in general is small. The unemployment for technology, all of technology, was 1.8% in December, okay? We would dream of having such a small unemployment rate for the country as a whole, okay? But it was only 1.8% in December, and it dropped to 1.5% in January. Okay, when you look at technology as a whole, technology is doing wonderful. What is happening, they think, is that if you're laid off by a Google or a Meta, you know, what a resume you have, okay? Small and mid-sized technology will hire you in a heartbeat. Okay, you won't have probably as good of a job, but technology jobs, even with small and mid-sized companies, of course, tend to pay well anyway. So you're really being downsized more likely than you are being unemployed, because technology workers are definitely wanted by small and mid-sized technology companies. So be sure to hit the like button if any of this has been helpful. I think the stock market is to be invested in now and to buy the dip. And I hope I'm not getting faked out, okay? But I've noticed that when the dollar goes down, stocks go higher. And as I'm taping this in the pre-market, the dollar is going down and the market is screaming higher, especially the NASDAQ. And so I want to be a part of that. I think I'm getting in with a portion of my portfolio. I have a good, significant portion in cash, and I'm going super bullish on the portion that I am investing, and I'm putting it into TQQQ. That's tripling the QQQ. The QQQ is the 100 largest companies on the NASDAQ. It includes all the big mega caps, plus the next largest 95 companies or so. You know, the top 10 should be considered mega caps probably, and it's weighted according to their size. So you are investing in the mega caps, and they have been recovering well, and I think they will continue to recover with fits and starts, because that's the way this market is, and it's going to be choppy until we get some stability on interest rates. But I don't think you have to lose your job to make up for the Federal Reserve's mistakes in not raising interest rates soon enough. That you can't buy a house is penalty enough. I don't think you need to be thrown in the streets and lose your job. But if you're a tech worker and you're at one of the big mega caps, some other company, a mid-size or small company, is going to hire you in all probability. So things are not as dire as they've been made to seem by some. Another factor that makes me think that we may be getting back somewhat to normal, or are at least making strides towards normality, is the VIX is low. Usually when the VIX, the VIX, is below 20, usually you're in a bull market. If you're not in a bull market, you're in a bull run within a bear market. And it can be hard to distinguish between those two. But I think this market has been beaten down so much this year that I do not think we have a major bear market ahead of us. It could go down, sure, but I don't think we're buying at a high point. We're buying at a relative low point, even if it should go lower. And I can always get out. And that's why I'm focused on staying in one stock, the TQQQQ. That's 3 Qs. I always throw too many in there. The TQQQ is an easy way to get in and to get out. It's between $20 and $30, so it's a quick and easy way to get in and to get out in case something drastic did happen that made this market go down. And that's what we haven't seen. We haven't seen something cataclysmic happen that would propel us into a deeper bear market. And we haven't seen that happen. And until you get that cataclysmic event, you don't get the VIX going into the 40s and 50s or 60s, 70s, way up there, unless something cataclysmic happens. So I'm betting on a return to normality. I think it's going to be choppy for a while, maybe for the next 6 months. But I want to be in at a relative low point and play it with a portion of my portfolio while having a significant portion in cash. That's the way I roll. Hopefully some of this has been helpful to you. Smash the like button. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't done that already, and hit that little notification bell if you want to be notified of future videos. And good luck to us all. Thank you.